The mystery of the light halos of the gods, saints, and extraterrestrial aliens. Are we used to seeing halos? We are used to seeing halos in iconography and in churches, Christian Orthodox churches. They're also found in statues of the Catholic churches. But this halo around the heads of the saints is not a privilege of Christian art. But again, it's lost in the depths of many centuries before Christianity and millennia, long before the appearance of monotheistic and traditional religions. We have the Wandina figures in Australia, for example. They look like extraterrestrials with some type of a halo. Certainly, we do not we don't need to say much about the halo of saints as we find it everywhere in the churches. But now, how many of us know that Buddha, Krishna, the goddess Kali, and many others do wear a halo? Almost unknown is the fact that we find it in ancient Greek gods as well, such as Apollon, Poseidon, and many others. In many parts of the world, in caves and on rocks, on boulders, on megaliths, unknown humanoid forms that refer to aliens have been found. These forms are the subject of study of the theory of ancient astronauts. Their age in many cases exceeds 10,000 years, while in some others they reach beyond 30,000 years. Some argue that these figures are bogus and figments of the imagination of low intelligence primitives. But now, how did the primitive have the ability to paint and depict with extreme precision animals of his environment? But in the case of the strange figures, he painted halos. But that's not our thing. Now, Krishna, many of the strange or otherworldly figures have halos around their heads. How did the primitives know about the halo? Is there an explanation? The theory of the ancient astronauts explains about the halo that it is a helmet or some kind of a protective head covering like the modern astronauts, but this does not suit all cases. Then Buddha, if we must give any safe explanation, then perhaps we should turn our attention to the human aura. Every living organism emits a light which is invisible to our eyes, and depending on the color of the aura, or its changes, or even its density, one can calculate, as long as one sees it, if one is good, pure, sick, bad, etc. The more the color shimmers or gilds, especially on the head, the more being who carries it tends to have a higher or more divine essence. The god Apollo, the aura is not visible. We cannot see the aura, the halo. How did prehistoric people perceive it? Well, some people do see halos. Some people do see others that are filled with uncreated light. But that has to be a divine grace given by God to be able to see it. Now, perhaps they had the ability, among many others, to see the aura. Possibly, however, they knew the technique so they could see it as we can see it with proper practice. If indeed these strange figures of thousands of years in the rocks and caves around the world are extraterrestrials, then we can assume that since they carried a halo, they were probably pure and superior beings, non-attached, full of inner joy, and high spiritual development. And somehow we arrive at a dangerous question. Do the saints and gods of most religions identify with or have some kind of close kinship with extraterrestrials? Indications, if not proof, that extraterrestrial intelligent beings came to Earth from distant planets exist in all traditions and in hundreds of statuettes. Perhaps the most characteristic of all is the exhibit in the Archaeological Museum that also shows ancient spacecraft themselves. The god Poseidon, as we've shown, there are many commonalities between ancient religions, distant geographically and not, that reach our days. The fact that their ideals were violated, altered, and shaped by foreign bodies in the interests of foreign beliefs does not change the essence. And the early Christian years, the halo is essentially the enclosure of higher spiritual intelligent beings, whether descended from heaven or not, who in their quest to establish a better world deify themselves. From then on, this golden halo around the head became a characteristic trademark of saints and gods around the world, whether they deserve it or not, and in many religions it became the subconscious way of powering and entrapping the human mind. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.